All right. Hey, it's time to get this show started. Let's go. Hey, folks, this is Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. Time to get this show started. Hey, well, good morning, everybody. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast. I want to welcome you all to the show today, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. When you think of living in Vegas, think living local and the return of cool. I'm your host, Sherman Ray. I'm the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine. I'm kind of looking at my desktop here. Our control panel is a little cattywampus here for some reason. Half of my screen is like gone. Oh, is that what it is? I hope that's what it is. Yeah, half my screen is like gone, and I think we're working. Let me check. I'm going to check on Facebook here, folks. I want to welcome all of our friends from Facebook that are joining us this morning. You may have noticed that I shaved. I did. I shaved. I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm one of those guys that I'm really old school, and I figure if you don't go all the way, don't do it at all. So I tried. Many of you have seen me before, where I've got a little facial hair and a little mustache, that kind of thing. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I decided to get rid of the beard and just go with the mustache. Well, that didn't work really well for me because I think it looked goofy. I know my wife loved it, and she said, "Oh no, honey, it looks great. Just looks wonderful." And I went, "Really?" So I got rid of it, and I feel much better. Besides that, I just gotta, and I told everybody about this yesterday. I'm actually opening up pages while I'm talking. I'm actually opening up other Facebook pages. I got a new job, folks, and I'm very excited about it. I'm actually on the pastoral staff at a new church. It's actually an old church. Church has been around since the 60s. It's called Family Worship Center, and it's over at 4000 Spring Road. So if you want to come visit us, I'm more than happy. Just come on down. Come on down to visit us over at Family Worship Center. And we're at 4000 Spring Road, and that's right across from Texas Station, on the other side of Rancho. So right across, really, literally right across the street from Texas Station, and one block off of Rancho. And the church has been around, like I said, since the 60s. And my good friend, Pastor Adam Childress, called me up a couple of weeks ago and said, "Hey, sure, I've been really thinking about you, been praying about you. Would you come on over?" And this was the second time I was actually asked to be a part of a church staff. And the first time I looked and I went, well, I wasn't really feeling, that conviction to go. And it's not that it's not a great church, the first church, and I don't want the other pastor to think that at all, because he's got a great ministry. But I just felt like this was the place. Sometimes you just feel that way. So I'm leading worship over at the Family Worship Center, and we're going to be working on all kinds of events and all kinds of outreaches and stuff like that. So I'm very excited about that. And now if I can get there we go. If I can get my last page. So welcome everybody who's watching us on Facebook. Love to... and as a matter of fact, I did mention my friend Pasquale Urabazo is, I don't know if Pasquale's even in town right now. Pasquale, are you even in town right now? Let me know. Last time Pasquale, I actually even spoke to Pasquale, he was actually in like Switzerland or something like that. He's an evangelist, and he's jamming for the Lamb, all that good stuff. So, but he watches the show on occasion. Thank you so much. And but if you're ever in town, Pasquale, I'd love to invite you down to say hello to Adam, and because Adam and everybody else over at the new digs and stuff like that. Just a lot of things to go. So we got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about today, and I want to make sure that we leave plenty of time for everything. There's been a lot of things that have been going on, And yesterday was one of them. We're going to talk about it really early in the show about a happening that just it was kind of a devastating thing that happened just yesterday. Yesterday, I was driving my wife to work. Let's talk about that now, as a matter of fact. I was driving my wife to work yesterday, and had some things to do. So I was going to use her car and do some things. And so we're driving her to work, and all of a sudden, so we're driving down Rainbow, and major blockade of cars. And we kind of figured, okay, if you're blocking off the road, it must be a fatality. Okay, so we kind of turn off of Rainbow, and we kind of avoid traffic. And we get back onto Flamingo down the road. And so we go down Flamingo towards the Vegas Strip. There's another blockade of cars. And we're thinking, what the heck is going on? So there was one on Rainbow, and then we go down the road about a mile, 2 miles road again, and there's another one. This time it's like in front of the Palms. And we go, oh my gosh, what's going on? And so we, once again, since we know the city, we jogged around that area too. And we're thinking, oh my gosh, we know there's some fatality. There's just, because that's what generally the police do. Well, yeah, there was. There was actually a story. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, well, you know what? I know I looked at the story. There were actually 2 fatalities, and they were pedestrian-involved fatalities. So, folks, just be really careful. We're watching a lot of people come into the valley, and many of those folks are, I don't know whether they just don't, they don't realize it. I don't know what it is. I just don't. Please be careful, especially if you're riding a bike, you're a pedestrian, you're driving a car. If you're on the streets, just be careful, because literally it doesn't really take much to kill somebody. Hit them with a car, they're done. And evidently in these 2 instances, it was literally 2 people, at least 2 people died in these instances. We drove the road, our normal route. I drove the wife to work again this morning. Once again, there was another. I could see where the glass was and stuff like that, with a fatality from the day before. Anyways, we did not pay any bills this morning. Let's pay a couple of bills here real quick. We'll be back in just a second, folks, for a little bit more of Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray. We'll be back in just a second. Hi, everybody. It's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you've got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Back, folks. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast. Many of you know that I'm the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine. You can go to our website, livininvegas.com, and you can check that out. It's a great magazine, and I really want you to get that into your hands. Also, and I thought I was going to get this done yesterday, but I was busy yesterday. I was over at the Texas station yesterday, and I wasn't able to actually get back to the computer. I was actually out pretty much all day yesterday doing some stuff out there. But I wanted to get the new picture of Livin Weekly up there. But you can actually get both of these magazines, Livin Weekly or Livin in Vegas magazine. This is actually the week before, the week before's cover of Livin Weekly magazine. Actually, and God, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this today. So by Friday, you'll actually see the new cover. That'll be the old cover by then of Livin Weekly magazine. But you can go to our website, livininvegas.com, and you can actually get both. These are free downloads. of the magazine. If you would like to advertise in either one of these magazines, definitely get a hold of us at info@livininvegas.com, and you can actually do that. Lastly, folks, we're having an event tomorrow, and the event tomorrow is the Christian Business, Christian Biz LV, and that event is going to be over at the Panera Bread. So Panera Bread, we're actually having an event over there. It's a meet and greet. It starts about 6 o'clock to about 8:30. Encourage you to register for this event and be there. Very cool. I'm looking really forward to meeting a lot of business owners who we've not met before. We've had a lot of people speak about how they want to come to the event, and so we really are looking forward to having you guys at the event. So come on out, Panera Bread at I think it's 2400 Rancho Drive. Yeah, 2400 Rancho Drive, and it's across from the Palace Station. Okay, so across from the Palace Station, it's actually right behind Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A, that right in that area, right in the corner of Sahara and Rancho. A lot of things on Rancho. And so we invite you out for that event. Lastly, tomorrow we're going to have on the show a couple of our friends from His Hop Radio. So His Hop Radio, I'm looking really forward to this. Bree and her husband Sam, they're going to be on the radio show. On the podcast, we're going to talk to Friday about what they're doing over there. I'm looking really forward to this. These are a cool couple, folks. Just full of life. Very excited about having them on the show tomorrow. So be here Friday. We had to reschedule them from last Friday, so they'll be on this Friday to talk about His Hop, which is very cool. So what else is going on? So there was actually, this is one of those stories. I didn't even get to read this story. A mail carrier pleaded guilty to her role to commit mail fraud involving illegally obtained unemployment benefit cards. Really? Oh, gosh. Her name, according to court records, Jasmine Rochelle Kanisha Black. That's a lot of names. 34 pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit mail fraud and faces a maximum penalty of 20 years. In prison, a term supervised release and a fine. Wow. So that's crazy. We had a lot of people lately who've done a lot of, so I want to ask you folks, especially some of you folks who are watching us on Facebook or you're watching us on YouTube. Have you seen a lot of this where people are actually not just mail fraud, but going and taking the mail boxes off of the walls? Yeah, I mean, we've got a neighbor. They put up a camera because they were fearful of something like that happening. And then, like the next day, someone had ripped their mailboxes completely open. Just, ripped it open. It's just crazy. So you just have to be careful. In another article, folks, Southeast Career Technical Academy's success recognized by Governor Sisolak. So I guess the governor went out to, so it's called SECTA, so Southeast Career Technical Academy. He went out there Tuesday morning during his visit. The governor also presented several long-time SECTA teachers with certificates of recognition, including Emily Giacana, 20-year culinary arts instructor. Like many other magnet schools, give students valuable hands-on learning to help them determine a career path. That's very nice. Very nice. I was out yesterday to an event, to a property near the Crossings Church. So many of you know where that's at. It's way on the south end of the valley. It is like off of Durango and the mountain. It's just way south of the valley. It's way out there. And the name of the property is called the Collaboration Center Foundation. And imagine this, and you don't see this a lot in Vegas, or there's probably a lot more of these, but you just don't know where they're at. It is right off of, what's the name of the street? It's off of Windmill. So Windmill and Durango. It's between, it's off of that area. And it's probably 5 acres, 5-acre parcel of land that's been transformed into it used to be a horse trough or a stables. So 6 stables, very cool. So matter of fact, I got a picture. I'm gonna show it to you while I'm looking at this. So when I went down there, the the guy that was down there said, "Hey, this place is being transformed into a children's hospital," which is just outstanding. I mean, it really is. The house on the property is about 10,000 square feet, and they have a riding stable. They've got an atrium area, and one of the things that I'm going to show you a picture of something that I don't even know if you're going to be able to see it. I hope you can. I really hope you can. Okay, I'm going to see if you can see this. All right, so let's see if you can see this. So can you see that, folks? How many of you can see that? So that right there is a picture of, I can put that up a little higher, of a carriage. Okay, this I'm going to put it a little closer. It's a carriage was in the stable area. Now the cool thing about this is, and I'm going to see if I can move over to a page, another page of it, is that this carriage. So I don't know if you can see the inside of it. So in the interior of that carriage, this was not cheap, folks. This was not a cheap done job. This is diamond tuck inside the carriage, and on the windows is actually those are lace blinds or lace shears on it. On the top of the thing, it's actually leather. So this is so cool, and I nerd out about stuff like that. I really do. I nerd out about stuff like that because I could imagine what that looked like when it was brand new. This thing must have been beautiful. It really must have been. And so I got to see that yesterday. Also, yesterday I got to go inside, and I mentioned this before, that I was over at Santa Fe, actually the Texas station yesterday. And I was there for a couple hours. So many of you know Texas Station is basically on the auction block. They're basically clearing out the place, and they are going to be selling the property on the Texas Station and on the Fiesta and Texas, because they're sitting side by side. Both those buildings are empty right now. They've not been open for about 2 years now, and the folks at Station Casinos have basically said, "Look, we're going to sell the property." So we'll sell the property, but we're going to demo everything, and then we'll just sell the raw land. So I guess they figure they'll get more money for it that way. Interesting thing about it is going in there yesterday was a throwback to when I was in construction. And when I was in construction, we worked on new buildings all the time. So the Bellagio, New York, that kind of stuff. My first job was at the Fremont Street Experience, and so a lot of buildings that I've worked on, and my first job as a foreman was Panorama Towers. So I built the first 2 Panorama Towers, and so I'm used to being in construction sites where nobody's there, but this was strange. This was a little eerie because the Texas Station, where I was at, used to be open. So there's still that thing. You can almost tell when people were there. The bingo parlor, which was full for years, now it's empty. The gaming floors, you can see where the machines were at. So I got some pictures. We'll actually put it on we're actually doing a story for this weekend for Livin Weekly, and we'll post some of the pictures. Very, very, I think you'll get it too, folks. I think you'll get what we're talking about it being kind of an eerie feeling, and I hope you enjoy it. Anyways, let's pay some more bills here. We'll be back with more Livin in Vegas podcast. This is Sherman Ray. We'll be back in a second. Hi, everybody. It's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, folks, and we are back. I'm Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast. I want to welcome you all back to the show, especially some of you folks who've never seen the show before. Thank you so much for being a part of it. We come to you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We kind of change our times up a little bit. And we talk about the people, places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. And I don't know if you saw this story. There was actually a story about, many of you probably seen the show called Street Outlaws. And Street Outlaws, if you just kind of get from the name of the show, it's basically a show about guys who race cars. They're not supposed to be, but they do. And something we've been trying to get people not to do, but they do it, and they do it. I think a lot of them, and this is done nationwide, so it's not just peculiar to Las Vegas. But these guys have taken their show and made it into a franchise. It's called Street Outlaws. Well, they were filming here in Las Vegas, out near Apex, and Highway 93 near Apex, and tragically, one of the stars of the show, his name is Ryan Fellows, he was killed in a car crash. I know that this story was actually a couple days ago, but this is just a no juju thing, and these are times when you just really kind of look back on life and you go, oh my gosh, you know, how fleeting is life. And these guys do this for a living. I mean, they've made a show out of it. And I'm sure a lot of you probably know this already, but a lot of these reality shows are actually staged. Okay. I don't know if this one is the same, but a lot of these shows, The Bachelor, what is it called? Bush People, Alaskan People, all that stuff is staged. Most of those folks live in, Idaho or whatever, and then they go on location, they film their show, and they come back out. I know. This is, if you've seen the show called Adam Ruins Everything, I feel like that, that I'm ruining it all for you. But they are. Many of those things are staged. But in some of these cases, this stuff is reality. When somebody gets in a car wreck, it's reality. So be very, very careful, folks, about stuff like that. In a related story, Marshawn Lynch. Many of you know Marshawn Lynch. He's former Seattle Seahawk. He was a former Raider. And he's retired now. He's been retired for a couple of years now. But evidently, he was arrested in Vegas for driving under the influence. So I just was reading this story. Former Raiders running back Marshawn Lynch was arrested Tuesday morning by Metro. Police said driver, later identified as Lynch, was stopped downtown near Las Vegas Boulevard in Wyoming, 7:25 in the morning. Wow, it said he was impaired and he was taken into custody. So I don't know what's going to happen with Marshawn Lynch. We'll have to check back on him and see how he's doing. Yeah. Let's go on to something else. It's just, remember that story we led with about the, I did actually download the story about the pedestrian killing. So we're going to post all of this on our website. So somehow or another, we have been attacked on our website. And if you are tech savvy and you would like to help us out at Livin in Vegas Magazine with our website, I would really appreciate it. Just give me a call and just contact me at info@livininvegas.com. It's info@livininvegas.com. And if you'd like to help us with our website, because it seems like we keep getting attacked by people. I don't know why people are really thinking that we're that important. But all of a sudden, our website is just slowed down tremendously. And it's just kind of frustrating because we get to upload all the stories and love to update this thing every day, but it's become very frustrating that we can't do that. Let's talk about our aces. Very excited about this. So the Aces are on their winning ways again. We're literally one game out of first place. Oh, we just beat Atlanta yesterday, which is so cool. Las Vegas bettered our record. We're 24-10, and we're one game behind Chicago, who's 25-9. We just beat Atlanta 97-90. Okay, remember just a couple days ago, we ruined the retirement of Sue Bird, who has been a part of, the whole basketball thing for like 20 years. I mean, she's been around forever. So, our next game that we're going to be playing, I think is tonight. I'm looking at the recap of the game here right now, folks. Pretty exciting because I didn't get to watch the game last night. I was just so tired. And so I've been working, many of you know, and I was just telling you about this, that I just got a new job. So in addition to doing all the stuff that I'm doing with the magazine, and we're looking at TV stations and all that other stuff, I'm a pastor. And I know. So that's what we do in Jamaica. We do 25 jobs, man. That's what we do. And so this is no different for me. And tonight we have a potluck. So there you go. So I didn't ask you guys, how are you liking the mustache? The lack of. Do I look younger? Do I look like a thumb? I had an ex-employee tell me I look like a thumb. And of course I fired her. No, I didn't. I didn't fire her because of that. She something else. But so this story, and I think we'll end with this story. So the Raiders, I was going to post this yesterday. I got Billy busy, but we'll post this on our Facebook page, or excuse me, on our website. The Raiders were helping out with the students going back to school, and they got into the activities by helping cut kids' hair, which is great. And we won't read the whole story. Who wrote this story? Was it Levi? No, their public relations people did. I love to give them props, whoever wrote the story, but it doesn't show actually who did. Okay, so we will actually post this story on our website at livininvegas.com. You can check that out and read about who went where and did their thing, which is so cool. I mean, we're probably going to be doing some of that stuff also. As a part of Living in Vegas, where we want to do some outreach stuff and really just kind of bless the community that has blessed us. It really has. We can't do any of this without you, folks. There's just no way we can do any of this without you. So we're very excited that we get to be a part of your lives, and so we want to bless you back. Okay. So anyways, so we're going to be back again Friday for another show. But be sure that you can actually go to our website at livininvegas.com. That's livininvegas.com. And you can actually check out articles, videos. You can download either Livin in Vegas magazine. It's a free download, or Livin Weekly magazine. And you can check that out. Also on that page, we've got links to some of the other stuff we've been talking about. Christian Biz LV, the meet and greet, and so much more. All of it packed onto that one page. Maybe that's why it's been slowing down, because we've got so much going on that website. But we want to make sure that you don't have to go looking all over the place for all this stuff. Okay, so it's all on one page, and we want to make sure you can get to it. So go to our website, livininvegas.com. That's livininvegas.com, and you can check that out. Also, in the evenings, and especially on the weekends, you can keep up with our Twitter feed, Livin in Vegas. And folks, we tweet all the time. I mean, really do. People follow us like you wouldn't believe on our Twitter feed, especially when UFC comes, because I watch a lot of the UFC, or when the Aces are playing, we do a lot of tweeting out about it, and people get their daily dose of Vegas from our Twitter feed. So just look us up at livininvegas.com. So anyways, this has been Sherman Ray for the Livin in Vegas podcast. I want to thank you all for being a part of the show. We come to you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday talks about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. When you think of living in Vegas, folks, think living local and the return of cool. We'll see you again Friday, folks, for another edition of Living in Vegas. See you later. Bye bye.